Hello, good morning, game changers. How are you today? It's Wednesday, the 20th of May, and we are going to continue our conversation where we left it on Monday. So let me just welcome everyone who is here, on the live stream. Welcome, Commons, welcome, Faith, welcome, Dolph, welcome, G Girl, welcome, Facebook user. When you live here, give StreamYard permission to use your profile, because that's the only way that we will know who is on the other line. And welcome and thank you, everyone. If you are watching the recording, you are still welcome. We appreciate your commitment and the time that you spent watching this. So today we're just going to continue on the theme that we started on Monday, which was the comfort zone and how is that working for you, And if you look at it, you'll realize that we all have potential, and we all know, because if you are honest with yourself, you'll realize that you can actually do much better than what you are doing. If you can feel that if you are not lazy, if you are not procrastinating, if you are not putting up stories, so you could actually do more. So we actually have more potential, but we are only using a fraction of that potential. And the challenging part is that for us to exploit that potential, we need to grow. There needs to be growth for us to exploit the potential, because there is a gap. We need to be bridging that gap. And we have dreams, we have desires that we are not able to fulfill. We know that we are not happy where we are. We want to change our circumstances, but we are not doing it. Why? Because even reaching out to our dreams requires us to grow. And growing means we need to move beyond the comfort zone. And that is where it's messy there in the comfort zone. That is where things are not easy in the comfort zone. And the question is, why are we not moving beyond the comfort zone, since we know that everything that we want is outside the comfort zone? And the answer is very simple, is because there is a process, and most of us don't know that process. We have never been exposed to that process because it has never been part of our education system. Even right now, our kids are not taught personal growth, So it's up to us parents, it's up to you if you are a parent to start, empowering your children with these things that are not taught at school. Otherwise, they remain unconscious, and they remain to control them when they grow up. So the reason is that there is that process that we don't know. And just to a brief recap of what we talked about, on Monday, we looked at the comfort zone and what is really keeping us stuck. We identified two things, which are our habits, some of the habits that we have gotten into, because when you are doing things out of habit, you don't need to be thinking. So it's easy. You have delegated the things into habit, and you just do them, on default automatically. But the interesting part is some of the things that we do on autopilot are not the things that are saving us. So we need to be able to do something about them. And then secondly, the other thing that's limiting us, from getting out of our comfort zone is our beliefs. And it's challenging because sometimes we think our beliefs are reality when actually they are not. We have acquired these beliefs through a learning process, whether we were started when we were young, before our conscious faculty has been developed. So we think it's reality, but it's actually not. We gained it through a learning process, and it means we can unlearn some of those beliefs and relearn new beliefs that will support us where we are and where we want to go. So really, for all of us, you need to interrogate your habits. You need to look at your belief system. What is it really that is penning us in the status quo? Because those are the two things, And interestingly, when you look at beliefs and habits, they only really exist in one place, and it's a place within our control, which is in our mind. It's in our mind, but the difference is that they are on the subconscious mind, on the lower part, of that brain diagram that I shared. And most of the time we are not aware. So we need to bring them into our awareness, which is why every time when you have an awareness, you have an aha moment. And if you act on it, you are able to move from one level, to another. So it's really so vital to be able to identify with that, to know that anything that is below your level of consciousness, you need to raise it to your level of consciousness. You need to make it to become aware, and that means that we are not necessarily aware of what we believe, until we or a good coach questions our beliefs, and that is why questions are an integral part of coaching, because questions are a great way of digging into the subconscious mind to find out what we really believe, And once you realize that what you actually believe is not what you want or is holding you back, then you are able to change that belief. So that is really that. But a big part of our problem is that we assume that most of our beliefs are actually a reality. Once you shift your mindset and realize that it's not actually reality, it's actually a result of a learning process. So that is when you are able to start challenging, those beliefs and start replacing them with new beliefs that will help you move forward. And there's actually a process, to acquiring beliefs, in the first place. So if there's a process to acquiring them, it means there's going to be a process to actually changing them, There's going to be a process to changing them. So today I want us to look at the process to change, what does that process look like? What does it entail? And I think if you are to get something, out of all these, sessions that I've been doing for the past month and this remaining part of the month, this is this session. If you are to get one thing out of it, this is the process that I'm going to share with you here. Because every day you're going to go back there and really look at it and see how are you following through on it. Can you actually follow that? Do you need help to follow it at all? So we're going to look at about so the first step in this process is decision. Is a decision. You need to make a decision. That's where it starts, and most of us are really challenged in deciding what it is that we want. Simple as that. What is that we want? We can't decide. And what about now taking a step to change a part of your life, a part of your business, a part of your career? But it starts with a decision. And I'm going to share with you a process that will help you make a decision. So the decision is simple. You need to first identify that I'm not where I want to be. Are you exactly where you want to be? Are you getting the results that you want? And then from looking at those questions, asking yourself whether you are where you want to be, whether you're getting the results that you want. Then you need to be brutally honest that I need change. I need to change. I need to change this. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this status quo, and I need to disrupt it. And then the next thing is to be honest and say, okay, can you do it on your own, or you need help to do that? And you say, I need help to change. And admit if you need help to change. The problem is that we lie to ourselves most of the time. We lie to ourselves most of the time so that we can stay positive and really feel good. Same thing, you ask someone, how are you? They are hating inside. They say, no, I'm fine, thank you. They are not fine. So we say we are fine when we are not. We act like we have it all figured out when we don't, when we don't. And we need to be able first to admit that we are not where we want, that we are not getting the results that we want, and that we are not able to even move ourselves from point A to point B, to get ourselves out of the comfort zone. And then realize that you may need help to move outside of your comfort zone. You may need help to do this change that you want. It comes in so many different ways. For me, when it started, many years ago after I quit my job at UB, I just had a desire. I knew I didn't want to continue becoming an academic, and I knew that going to do a PhD was going to hold me, hostage at UB. So I had to decide that I am not going to go and do for this PhD, and I'm not staying even in this environment. I'm gonna change jobs. I'm gonna quit. For me, it was not actually changing jobs. I just wanted to quit because I knew I didn't want to work anymore. So that was the decision that I made. And I realized later on that I don't even know what I was doing. So that's when I realized that I need help. And because there was no local help here, I started attending, entrepreneurship courses, but there was no one holding me by the hand. That's when I started looking outside the country into the US, investing in coaching, investing in mentoring. So it started with that. But you need to be very, very honest with yourself. And let me help you, answer this one. If you really want to be honest with yourself, is just imagine if an outsider is to come and take a peek at your life. If someone is to come and take a peek at your life, a peek at your business, a peek at the way you are doing at work, what are they going to say about it? What are they going to say about it? Are they going to say, well done, you're doing a good job, or you have potential? What are they going to say? I want you to answer it for yourself. Answer it the way that things are in your life right now. So answer it, because if you are to bring a consultant and say, okay, can you come and have a look at how my life is really going, and you stand there and you allow them, access, they ask you questions, what are they going to say? Are they going to say, well done, you are doing a great job, you are really utilizing your time properly, you are exploiting your full potential? What are they going to say? Because as soon as you admit that you are not where you want to be, that's like the aha moment in your life. That's like your turning point. And I know that the moment that you admit that this are not where I want to be, insecurities are going to come up. A lot of insecurities are going to come up. I call them considerations. You're gonna start thinking like, no, but I can try it. I can try it and do it by myself. And I normally say, you have been trying and doing it for yourself. How old are you? And you haven't gotten it. What makes you think all of a sudden you're gonna get it? Get it? They're gonna start thinking that no, there's a cheaper way of doing it. There's an easier way of doing it, and you're gonna want to go to the cheaper way of doing it, the easier way of doing it. You are not going to really be realistic and say, let me look for the support and get the support that I need. So all of those things are going to come in, the fear and all of those things. But you got to make a commitment. So the second step to the process is commitment. Because once you make a commitment that, you know what, I am going to change my results, I'm going to change my life, I'm going to work on improving my self-image, my self-esteem. The moment that you do that, the path gets revealed. The path gets revealed of how you are going to move to the next level. I normally share with my clients that commitment precedes resources, but that is not how that's not how we've been trained. We've been trained to think that resources come before making a commitment. So that is why for our entire lives, we have been holding back from making a commitment because we are waiting for something to happen before we can commit. We're waiting for resources to wait before we can commit. We are waiting to see if we've got money before we can commit. We are waiting to see if we'll have time before we can commit. And you know what? You will never do anything if you think that resources are going to precede your commitment, because you are still going to think, okay, when I graduate, this is what I'm going to do. When I get married, this is what I'm going to do. Who has seen themselves thinking like that? When I reach 45, this is what I'm doing. Because you are now making resources as if they are what you need to make the decision. But once you realize that commitment precedes resources, your whole life is going to shift. Because the moment that you make a commitment, that is when the path gets revealed. That is when resources show up. That is when people show up to help you. That is when ideas come up. And most people think they are committed when they are just not, when they are interested. There's a difference between being interested and being committed. So if you are interested, you are going to do what's convenient. You are going to do exactly what is convenient. You are going to come up with stories and excuses. And as a coach, I sniff interest from a distance, from very, very far. No matter how many reasons you are going to give me, I'll always know that this one is just interested. Because stories, people who are interested have so many stories. They'll come up with so many stories. of why they didn't do things, what happened. They'll come up with excuses. We call them drama queens in coaching. They become drama queens. They always have stories of what happened, that stopped them from doing that. And they allow their limiting beliefs and habits to control them. So they only do what is easy. And which is why there are people who have been following me for years, more than 5 or 6 years, but they've never engaged in a coaching process. They've never been engaged in a coaching process. They just want the seminar. They just want the 2-hour workshop. So they go to a vision board workshop, and then after that, they think it's okay until they go back and fall even deeper than where they were before, because it's easy. It's easy to just commit your 2 hours. But when someone says commit a minimum of six months, commit a year, commit 5 days to a retreat, no one wants that. But when you are committed, you are going to take action in spite of those doubts and fears. Most people are doubtful. Most of my clients, they become very honest after sometimes said, I didn't think these things works, and I looked at you, and with your genes and your simple persona, I thought I'm not going to get any results. So, but when you are committed, you realize that there are these doubts, there are these fears, but you still take action, and you also realize that what got you to where you are will never take you to where you want to be. So you upgrade your knowledge, you upgrade your skills, you upgrade your belief system, start upgrading even your habits, and you choose to let go of anything that you realize that is holding you back. You just push it aside and you focus on what needs to happen moving forward. So that was the second the second step of the process of change. The first one is you need to make a decision, and you need to be honest to do it, and you need to make a commitment. And I shared with you the difference between someone who's committed and someone who's interested. The third one is you need to have a goal or a reason to change. And most of the time, I think we want to facilitate the reason of why we want to change based on where we want to go. But I think the most important way to use is actually look at what is this costing me. So if you really look at what is continuously doing what you are doing every day, what is it costing you, in your life? Is it peace of mind? Is it income? Is it growth, or is it achieving your dreams? What is not deciding? What is not making a commitment? What is it costing you? What is it costing you? So you want to really look at that. Have a reason for change. Have a goal, something that is you are focusing on, that is really anchoring you. And if you want to come up with that goal, go back to that list, that the outsider, the consultant who came to snoop around your life. What did they tell you? And so looking at that, what is one reason that you would want to embark in a process of change? And then the fourth one is in understanding the obstacles that you are going to face. What obstacles are you going to face if you take on this step? Because there are going to be those considerations, like I talked about them. And the first obstacle, most of them are actually within. They're not external, They're not external. Most of those obstacles. It's not about other people. It's just about you. So the first thing that's going to come up is your self-image is going to say, no, you can't do this. You can't afford this. You are not good enough. This is not for people like me. It's going to come with, with different reasons why you can't do it. So it's either going to be your self-image, your self-esteem, or your self-worth just saying, no, this is not for me. I can't do it. I'm not worth this. Because most of the time I always, I have a coach who says, never ever say something is expensive. Never say something is expensive. Say, I am not worth this investment. He said, look at the cost as, are you worth benefiting from that investment? So it's more about your worth, whether you think you are worth that or not. Most of the time it's always about you deciding if you are worth that or not. And then you're going to have those limiting beliefs that are going to come up, that are going to also stop you from moving forward. No, I can't do that. It's too early. I'm not ready. You are waiting for a sign from God to say, no, now strike. The iron is hot. Now you can actually strike. So those are going to come up. And then the other concerns that are going to come up are going to be your knowledge. You are going to realize that, okay, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. Maybe you want to grow your business, you want to improve, but you don't know what is needed. You don't know what to do. So unless you realize that if I make an investment in growing, I'm also going to upskill my knowledge. I'm going to learn new things. I'm going to improve my skills. Then you are going to move beyond that. And then the final one, and the one that's holding most people back, is actually the fear. The fear of uncertainty, the fear of the unknown. And that is why most people, they will be asking, when you share a program, I don't understand. Send me more information. More information for what? To just get you confused and to just feed your limiting beliefs. So most of the time, the information is just going to fuel your limiting beliefs and confuse you even further. What you need to know is, what are the benefits? Once you have the benefits, because that is what is going to help you, is the benefits that you are going to get from a certain program. The process is there, but the delivery and the process and all of those things, the behind the scenes things, they are not what you need. I normally ask people, when you went to UB to do your degree, did they give you your whole, when you were applying, did you get the whole curriculum? Did they take you through all the classes, how you are going to go to class, whether you are going to go at 9 or at 10? That's not how it works. You got the degree that you wanted, the benefits of doing it, and where you could work if you had those, if you had the qualification. So how can it help you? That's it. As for the others that are going to come once you have made that commitment, so a lot of the things that we think we need to make a commitment, we don't actually need them. It's just an excuse. We don't, because they are going to fuel the limiting beliefs, because you are going to see a whole lot of these things that you don't know, that you have never experienced before, and you're going to start questioning whether they are going to work or not. So sometimes more is not good. More is not good. What you have is enough to help you make a decision and move to the next level. And then the fifth step is a strategy. You need a strategy to step beyond the terror barrier. The terror barrier is that barrier that you reach when you are not certain, when you are afraid, to make a decision, or when you have taken a decision and you meet fear in your face, and you have to decide whether you are moving forward or that fear is stopping you. Because that's how fear works in our lives. It's either it propels you to move forward, or it brings you back to safety. And this is why most people, even when they invest in coaching, they maybe join and do it for like 3 months, 2 months. The third month, they disappear. They hit that terror barrier. They start facing the truth. They start facing their life, looking at what's really happening. They stop seeing the lies that they've been telling themselves and start seeing the truth. And if they can't handle the truth and move forward, it means they're going to retreat to the comfort zone. They're going to retreat to that place where you don't need to think, that place where you don't need to face the truth. You just need to continue feeding yourself lies and excuses and moving on. And it also brings you to the place where there are people who are like you, are comfortable. They're not going to be asking you questions like in the coaching space where people will hold you accountable. So you need to have a strategy. And that strategy is part of the coaching process, where you start building in the right habits that will support you when the going gets tougher. You start building in the right belief systems that will anchor you to where you want to go. You start learning how to believe in yourself, which is one of the things that we don't have, is a self-belief, because we are so conditioned to listening to everyone else around us that we don't trust ourselves anymore. So the starting point is to start trusting and believing in yourself. That is what the first part that coaching works in, is to equip you to start trusting yourself, believing in yourself, and being able to listen to yourself, your inner self, your authentic self, and what it wants and what it is saying. So you really have that strategy, and then there's accountability, there is support, there is new resources that you are going to need to take you to where you really want to go. And then the sixth part of that process is actually persistence. Because like I'm saying, you're going to start seeing a lot of things, that sometimes you've been seeing them, you've been ignoring them, because it was comfortable. But now once your level of awareness is raised, they become to your awareness. And there are simple things. It could be simple things with the relationship that you have, maybe with your parents, maybe with your spouse. You realize that you have been settling, you have been taking in things that are not giving you peace, and you can't continue doing that once your level of awareness has been raised. So you need to challenge them. You need to stop. You need to approach them, and confront them on those things that you are not happy with. And confrontations are good, but they're not comfortable. So you need to be persistent. You need to develop a thick skin, of staying through and not quickly really giving up, when all these things come to the surface. And the seventh part is a shift in mindset and attitude. Then you need to start seeing things differently. If you are to continue on the change process, you need to change your attitude, the way you respond to things. You start responding, you stop reacting, to circumstances and to events. You start learning how to handle your emotions and how to interact with other people without being a control freak and wanting them to only do things that you want, not just playing, in your court. So there is a process, and this is the process that most people have never even given themselves the space to go through. They've never given themselves the space to actually go through that. And especially things that are holding us back. Those are some of the things that you really want to start looking at, what it is that is actually holding me back. And I also think you need a third perspective. Having a third perspective really does help, because how many times have you looked at somebody else's life, and seen all the problems or things they need to change? So it's so obvious in somebody else, isn't it? It's so obvious that they need to change, but it's more difficult to see it in ourselves, because much of what we do is habitual, like I've mentioned earlier. It's habitual, it's unconscious, it's below our level of consciousness. So someone looking in can more easily identify those things that are holding us back. And it's not just with regard to our life that a good coach can fast track our success. That is why it's even happening in sports. That's what's happening. I remember, I used to be an athlete, and most of the work that I did was in athletics. So it was running, playing high, doing high jump, doing long jump. So that's what I've been doing. So I was never involved in a hand sport or a contact sports. So when I went to do my master's in Canada, I realized that I need to do something. And actually, I think what really drove me to do that was because Lawrence played tennis and squash. And I thought, okay, I want to learn a sport that I can play with my husband. So when I went to Canada, I invested in learning how to play squash. So I paid a coach, to teach me how to play squash. And because I had never played a hand sport at all, my coach pointed out to me on my first session a couple of things that I could change that were really holding me back from from playing well. So sometimes it's just a few bad habits that we need to change, and we are off in a whole new direction. And like I said, the formation of our beliefs is part of a learning process. So we are pretty much a product of our, the product of our environment. We have all learned to fit in with our environment. And you can think about the language. If you take your child and take them to an English medium preschool, which is what we did with Buipelo, they're not going to struggle to learn English. It's going to come, very easy for them. But if you take them to a school where they don't speak English, maybe it's German, they're also going to learn German, so they will learn that language. So really everything we soak into our environment. And when we are young, we even soak so quickly, and easily than when we are adults. The same thing if you put a child in a wealthy home, they are going to start, picking on the habits and beliefs, eating the things that are eaten there. But take a child, from the village and bring them into Gaborone and into my house. They're not going to be eating those vegetables because they're not exposed to them. But over time, they will learn that this is still food. They're not going to say, okay, where is the maize meal? Where is the, the rice? And this is even big. If you look at people, who have been on welfare recipient, you realize that they've been like generations across generations, and it's because of the environment in which they grow up. They go to the same places, they see the same things, they talk to the same people, they do the same things. So the most natural thing in the world for someone growing up in the environment is to fit right in it, unless you challenge that. I don't know if I shared that when I was doing, I think it was around Form 2, that I realized that I was on welfare, at secondary school. When everyone was buying uniform, I would go there to pay, and they said, no, yours is paid for. Yours is paid for. It took me some years later to realize that, but who paid for my uniform when my parents didn't pay? Then I realized that I was actually registered with SNCD to get support. And the moment that I realized, I said, no, 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 I'm not going to have kids who are going to be supported by government. So it was really an incentive for me to say, you know what, I need to work really hard because I don't want my kids growing up the same way that I grew up. So really, and part of this fitting in, process of fitting in, is actually the accumulations of beliefs. Like we know the story of the duck, that the ducklings, when they break through the shell, the first thing that they see, they say is their mother, whether it's a human being or whether it's a dog, they believe that is their mother, because this information is programmed into their subconscious mind. So the same thing with us, all our beliefs, they are programmed into our subconscious minds. And this is referred to as a paradigm, where you have all these belief system programs that are limiting you. And I call it the norm. That is what I call the norm. Now, we may not have been responsible for the creation of our paradigm, but the truth is this: we are responsible for, for changing the paradigm. We are responsible for changing that paradigm. And this is probably the most important thing that I'm going to say, is that we're not responsible for acquiring it, but it's our responsibility to change it. You are not responsible for the belief system that have brought you this far, but it's your responsibility to change them. It's your responsibility to disrupt the status quo. It's your responsibility to disrupt the norm. It's not about your spouse. It's not about your mother anymore. They've done their part where they have, they've raised you. Now it's your responsibility to take it from there and move forward. So if you want something different to what you have been getting, it's your responsibility to change your paradigm. No one is going to do that for you, and if you are going to change, then you need to accept full responsibility for changing that paradigm. And it starts the day that you become aware that there is a paradigm that is holding you back, that you are not where you really want to be, and it starts with you learning, new belief system through a process, that like a process which we go through when we are actually, going through the coaching process. It means shifting your mindset to realizing that this is not actually a reality. This is a learned process. You have learned it, It's the result of the learning process and the creator of our reality. So we are actually responsible, and we can actually control that. So this is what I want to really leave you with, that it is actually, it's up to you. It's up to you to change that. It's up to you to look at the habits that are holding you back, to look at the belief systems that are holding you back, and say, what do I need to do to actually change them? If the result that you are getting are consistent with your comfort zone, and you don't like the result that you are getting, then it means it's time for a new comfort zone. It's time for a new comfort zone, because the one that you are in is no longer, serving you. And it's very easy. I normally share with my clients that comfort zone comes in levels. Actually, when you move from one level of your comfort zone, you reach another level. You reach a new level of comfort zone. And I think that is why some people get stuck is because when they get a level of awareness and they move out of that first level of comfort zone, they stay for too long in the new one, sometimes even longer than, and I think it's even more painful when you are aware that you are in a comfort zone than when you were not aware in the past. When you were just thinking everything is reality and that's how life is supposed to be. So the formula is get you outside your comfort zone and stay there till you get comfortable again. Then repeat. So keep on repeating. Keep on growing into a bigger and better, and more capable and more productive you, because it's not going to stop. We're going to continue growing. We are the only, we are the only beings actually in this world who thinks that we can stop growing. If you look at the trees, do you think the tree is looking at another tree and saying, no, but you are short, I can stop here? No, it's continuously growing. It's continuously exploiting the resources that it have and growing and growing, and reproducing and producing. We are the only ones who think going to university and getting a degree and getting married is the final point of growing, where we are not growing, but we still want our salaries to increase. They are increasing in proportion to what? Since you have had your degree in 2002 and you are not growing, you are not upgrading yourself, you are not growing personally, but you still want your salary to increase. What is it increasing in proportion to? In proportion to your years? Because your years are increasing? Really? Just ask yourself that, ask yourself that. So those are some of the things that you really want to look at it. And just a final thought, if you look at, John Maxwell normally says that the secret of happiness is growth. He said, look around. Everyone who is not, who is disgruntled, who is unhappy, look at your relatives, look at your family members, look at your colleagues. Everyone who is complaining the most and who is disgruntled is the person who's not growing. He's the person who's not doing anything to improve their lives. And they're just looking at you and jealous and thinking you are lucky, you are being favored, you are being liked by the boss or the superiors. But they are not looking at what is it that you are doing that is making you lucky, that is making you to be favored. And L. Nightingale said that the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, he said happiness is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And that means growth, as well. And Margaret Thatcher said, when you look back at the days you have been really happy, they're not the days when you sit in front of the TV. They are the days when you had everything to do and you did it. So those are my final word. And so the comfort zone may appear to be comfortable in the short term, but how is it working for you over time? So now I've shared with you the easier process that you can follow. So you can sit down, look at that process and start on your journey, or you can admit that you can't do that on your own. You have been trying to do bits and pieces of those things, but they have not gotten you to where you want to go. They've not gotten you to the results, and you need help, you need support to do that. And if you are here, you are watching this, and you feel like you need that support, you can schedule a discovery session with me. You can talk to Umukolo Faith Makondo and schedule a discovery session. These sessions, I charge them, at 500 pula per 30 minutes, but I'm giving it complimentary. If you are here and you feel like you need to talk with me, you need to confront, things that you have been running away from your truth, you want to look at it. And then also, second, if you feel like you are ready, you need somewhere to start. We are launching Ignite Your Spark, the second cohort in June. So the closing date is the 27th of March. I will share the link with you, but if you are still not sure that is what you want, and then you can book a session so that you are able to do that. And I know there are some who are graduates here who have done Ignite Your Spark. There is a next level for you. We will communicate that with you so that you can consider if you want to move away from this comfort zone into the next level of your new comfort zone. So thank you very much, everyone who is here. Yeah, who is here for your participation. And let me just see, I think there were comments here that maybe I can I can highlight. Okay, there's Facebook user. I don't know if it's Mufflet or who is saying my life is not where I'm supposed to be. I have the potential to be better than where I am. I need to awaken myself from this slumber. Thank you very much. Yes, I think change only starts to happen when you are honest enough to appreciate where you are without telling yourself, the lies and the stories. And Takpe is exactly that, coach. What is it costing me? Yes, ask yourself what is doing what I'm doing every day, getting the result that I don't want. What is it costing me? Then you can come up with a goal. And Bokai say, well, I'm loving this. I'm so relating, and I attest that coaching should be a continuous process. Otherwise, your destiny gets aborted before you know it. I've been through it. Thank you, Boka. Faith is saying believing in yourself is very important because even people believe in you, you will never believe in yourself until you start to believe in yourself first. Yes. Even if people say, no, you can do it. Yeah, cheering you up, you can do it. If deep inside your inner voice is saying, no, you can't do it, no amount of cheering, no amount of supporting can motivate you to take action. Tembi says a powerful session. We are responsible for our paradigm. Yes, we are responsible for changing it. We're not responsible for the current paradigm where we are, but we are responsible for changing it. Ntakupe is saying, thank you, Ntakupe. Facebook, I say this is very powerful. Skill of happiness is growth, personal growth. I'm challenged. Yes, it is. Everyone who's not growing is disgruntled. They are complaining, they are always sick, stress, they are stressed out. Can we say thanks, coach, for this process? You are most welcome. Actually, if you have been coached, you have gone through this process, but it was not broken down into these pieces. So, yeah. Thank you. You are welcome. Kibalipile. Bokai say I'm waiting for that next level. I need more tools. Sure. Lemorang, thanks a lot, coach. You are welcome. Wow, coach, you are making me more uncomfortable. Sorry, Ntakupe, but that is my job as a coach, to make people uncomfortable. So I don't like to apologize for it at all. But I know that if you are feeling that discomfort, then it means it's time to take a step, Khalise comfort zone is dangerous. Thank you, Mara. Say I really enjoyed this session, and it all requires for me to be brutally honest with myself. True, Mara. All right. Thank you very much, game changers. I will see you in the gap, in the group. Comment and post any questions that you have there. So I will share the link. If you have been following and you are not ready to make a commitment, ask yourself, what lies are you telling yourself? What beliefs are holding you back from changing the things that need to be changed in your life? Thank you very much, and have a great weekend. And yes, and by the way, we do have a guest coming this week. Is an interesting, special guest who really is going to talk to you about comfort zone from a very high level, at a corporate level, where she was at the peak, but it took a decision. It took her to be honest to realize that she has been too comfortable, and most people who were looking at her were thinking she is at a very good place. They were thinking she has a very good job, but she realized that she was comfortable and she needed to change. I don't want to spill the beans. Stay tuned Friday when this special guest comes here, into the community, and a lot of you will learn a lot from her. Thank you very much.